I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We remain standing for prayer, please. Supreme Architect, we ask for special blessing of this meeting. We ask that it be closed in harmony. But Lord, we ask for a special blessing upon two of our dear friends who have passed, Susan Etzel and Debbie Amiot. We cast our concerns for you, Lord, to them. We know that they are in your hands, and we thank you for everything, for the special blessing that they were with us. Lord, we just ask this in all your precious name. Amen.
So moving.
Okay, I'd like to welcome everyone to the public business meeting for Thursday, June 5th, 2014 of the Allegheny County Commissioners. Gentlemen, are there any additions or deletions to our agenda?
No, sir.
Commissioners, I'd like to entertain a motion to approve the minutes of our May 22nd, 2014 public business meeting.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved by Commissioner Brody, seconded by Commissioner Valentine. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Gentlemen, we have a large agenda this evening. We will dispense with the report of the President, and we will jump right into a retirement. Item number 1, the retirement of Carol Sangiovanni, the coordinator of the Allegheny County Task Force on Child Abuse and Neglect, which I have had the honor to serve with her. We've had lots and lots of good times. We've had some fun times.
Yes, we have.
And how did the cupcakes go?
They were excellent. Commissioner's daughter, Madison, made dreamsicle cupcakes for my last board meeting. They were absolutely delicious. She will be getting a thank you in the mail. Everyone appreciated them. As a matter of fact, I was wondering on the back of the card, she had Maddie Cakes. I was wondering if that's her business.
That is her little business?
She's 13 years old.
So,
they were excellent. They were decorated like a professional.
Nixnay on the cupcakes, because Mr. Eberly
Didn't get any. Sorry.
It's my favorite flavor, too.
Mine too.
It is his flavor. Well, anyhow, Carol,
Okay.
please.
Okay. Well, first of all, I just want to thank the commissioners for your support that you have given to me and to the Child Abuse Task Force over the past 30-plus years. It has meant a great deal. It's been a pleasure to work with you as well as previous commissioners. Your support has given me the opportunity to work with other professionals in the community to help children and families, and that has been very rewarding. I especially, a program that's very dear to my heart because I work with the children is the Personal Body Safety Program, as you well know. That's a sexual abuse program that we present in the schools. And it has been made possible with the principals, with the teachers, with the counselors in the school system. And it has been a very successful program. This past year, we have presented to 3,759 children. And since the inception of the program, we have presented to 89,759 children. And I know with that number that we have reached a lot of children and we were able to protect and keep them safe. And for those who that were fortunately not abused, it also gave them the skills to know what to do if they ever got in a situation where someone did try to touch them inappropriately. So it has been a very rewarding program, and I am just honored that I was part of it. So on a personal note, I would like to thank my family and friends for showing up today and for giving me their support. every one of them has touched my life, and I've been very blessed to have them in my life. As you know, my husband, you know John. I do want to thank him for his love and support. And on a personal note, you've never had the honor of meeting my son and his family. They live in Westminster, Maryland.
Wonderful.
So I would like to introduce my son, John.
Please.
Wonderful son, John II.
All right, John II.
His lovely wife, Kristen, and our awesome grandchildren, Oscar and Darren.
Wonderful, wonderful.
Unfortunately, our lovely daughter also, Jennifer, she lives in Myrtle Beach, and she was unable
That's a
to
shame.
be with us. I'm sure she's at the beach sunning
Yeah,
herself.
that's right.
On a note, or final note, I would just like to introduce to you the new coordinator for the Child Abuse Task Force, and that's Mrs. Chrissy Uchik. And Chrissy is a delightful young lady, and I know that she will do a great job. So we're pleased to have her on board.
Well, welcome aboard, Chrissy. That is wonderful. You know, I had promised Mr. Eberly that I would be good.
I heard it was you, David, that wasn't going to be good.
But,
These guys give me a hard time.
But since your son's here, and this is like the first time he's got to meet
Know what he's
me.
going to do.
Okay. You sure? There's a wonderful story that your mother would like to tell you about how she's very famous, and just ask her something like, hello, and I'll just leave it at that. That's there's no doubt you'll be able to figure that out in rapid fire.
And I will say, as I know Dana knows too, that I am sorry that over the years I have not recorded the comments the children have made. I could write a book and be rich. Some of them are not very flattering, others are very funny.
Well, Carol, we'd like you to come up here, and we'd like to give you this citation. And let's give her a round of applause, please. You're a true blessing.
Thank you. I feel the same.
Okay, gentlemen. Allegheny County, Maryland official citation to Carol Ann Lewis Sangiovanni. Whereas Allegheny County government wishes to recognize Carol Ann Lewis Sangiovanni, who has served as coordinator of the Allegheny County Task Force on Child Abuse and Neglect for 30 years. And whereas Carol Sangiovanni is a professional, competent, and respected, and personally compassionate and dedicated administrator who chose a life of public service. Whereas, under Carol Sangiovanni's leadership, Allegheny County's at-risk children are identified, and those who are abused and neglected are helped in every way possible with their difficult, multifaceted issues. And whereas these Allegheny County children have survived and thrived due to the work of Carol Ann Lewis Sangiovanni for the Allegheny County Task Force of Child Abuse and Neglect. Now, therefore, we, as the Board of Commissioners of Allegheny County, wish to take this occasion of Carol Ann Lewis Sangiovanni's retirement from the Allegheny County Task Force of Child Abuse and Neglect to humbly, gratefully, and sincerely thank her and extend our warmest wishes in the years to come. In witness whereof, we have hereunto set our hands to be caused this seal of Allegheny County, Maryland to be affixed this 5th day of June in the year 2014, all signed by all 3 county commissioners, but more especially on behalf of the children of Allegheny County that you
Thank
have
you.
touched.
Thank you. I appreciate it so much.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you, Bill, so much.
Never another Doubtfire.
Oh, gosh.
What we'd like to do, if the family could get ready, because we're going to ask you to come up and we're going to take a picture, but we'll do us first. And so, gentlemen, you ready?
We're ready.
All right.
Thank you.
Perfect. John? Kristen?
Awesome there.
37?
I have quite a posse out there.
That's good.
I'm very blessed.
Guys, let's have them, the day that Mike
Get right
retires,
behind
we'll have to
Mom.
rent an auditorium somewhere.
Isn't that
We're gonna have to stand right behind
You're
Mom,
tall.
and we'll just be on the
You're gonna have
corners,
to
okay?
have pride. You're gonna have
Get her in
pride.
That mother is a trooper.
I'm talking.
Yes, yeah.
Squeeze in there, Bill.
All right, can we get in?
Which camera?
Well, that one there.
Look at me first.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, okay.
They want it done. Go one more. Everybody looking here on three. 1, 2, 3. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good.
We Good, up, one more for Mom.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Two more, I took it down. Congratulations again. I'm telling you, and I was all ready to bring pies. Okay, gentlemen, item number 2 is some recognition for the 2014-2015 Allegheny County Teacher of the Year, Miss Dana Jo Reinhardt, Georges Creek Elementary School. Now, Ms. Reinhardt, I understand that your parents are here and your sons, John and Luke.
Yes, my parents, my father, John Brasky, my mom, Pam Brasky, and my 5-year-old son, John, and my soon-to-be 1-year-old son, Luke.
Wonderful, wonderful. Welcome, family.
Thank you, Board of Commissioners. I feel honored and truly humbled to be recognized as Allegheny County's Teacher of the Year. I am looking forward to representing our county and participating in the many opportunities this wonderful honor has in store. So thank you very much.
Wonderful.
Thanks.
Well, we have a couple presentations here, if we may. First of all, I'd like to, please, thank you. Here is a small gift, a token of our appreciation.
Thank you.
And you'll be really impressed with it. It's a local vendor and very, very proud of what we do there. But I do have a citation here, if I may read it, please. Allegheny County, Maryland, official citation, be it here known to all that the Board of County Commissioners highly commends Dana Jo Reinhardt, Allegheny County Teacher of the Year, 2014-2015. The Board of County Commissioners with the Great Seal of Allegheny County. Let's give this young lady a round of applause. We'll take a picture, and then we'd like to have your family up here as well, if that would be okay. Commissioner, would you please bring your family up? Didn't get in
Sir, good to see you. They were
well.
having y'all.
How awesome is that?
We'll flank you.
Okay, sounds
Hey,
good.
we would come this way a little bit?
You're Democrat.
How did you? Yes.
You like that better?
I do. 1, 2, 3. Sorry. We'll do it again. Here you go.
Another round of applause for our Teacher of the Year.
Thank you. Mike rocked that himself.
Thank you. It's beautiful. Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Good to see you. Thank you. Been there, done that.
Speaking like a guy who was a county commissioner
I know you have.
for 14 years and president of Mako.
Yeah, he was president of Mako. Okay. Item number 3, gentlemen, is going to be explained by Ms. Terry Bennett, our recycling coordinator. And is Abigail Cage gonna, or are you gonna call on her? Okay, perfect. Wonderful.
Thank you, Commissioners. I'd like to take a few minutes to announce the winner of this year's telephone book recycling campaign. This is the 22nd year of the campaign in schools in Allegheny County. The campaign is supported each year by the county commissioners and the Board of Education and our Solid Waste Management Board. This year, students from 16 schools participated and collected 9,469 outdated telephone books. This equates to over 14,000 pounds of material that's been diverted from our county's landfill. I would like to make a special thanks to 2 local businesses for providing financial support for this year's campaign. That is Advanced Disposal and Waste Management. They've supported the campaign for many years. This year's winning school is Bel Air Elementary. These students collected over 1,000 telephone books from 215 students. This provided the winning ratio of 4.7%, or nearly 5 telephone books per student. So this school is winning the $200 grand prize. With us tonight, I hope, to receive recognition for Bel Air School is Miss Abigail Cage and her parents, Jennifer and Chris. Okay, he's not here, just Jennifer. Okay. Abigail brought in over 560 books herself.
Wow. Wow.
That's great. Thank you very much, Abigail, for supporting the county's recycling program, and congratulations. So, Commissioners, do you have something for Abigail?
We do. Abigail, would you join us up here? Do you bring Mom with you? Okay.
Did you bring your 500 phone books?
All right. Right here? Wonderful. Wonderful. Gonna help me?
Order a crane to get him back up.
All right, here we go. Allegheny County, Maryland official citation.
What's that thing?
I think I've got the wrong one here. I think I have to go back to your school to help read it. Allegheny County official citation, Abigail Cage. Commendable contributor, Bel Air Elementary School Telephone Book Recycling Campaign 2013-2014. Congratulations. Reduce, reuse, recycle, compost. Has the 3 commissioners of the Board of County Commissioners in Allegheny County and has the great seal. Let's give Miss Abigail a round of applause. And then we're going to look this way, and we're going to smile. That's who I call Mom.
Terry.
And then we'll do, okay? All right, now we're going to look at Terry. Way to go, congratulations.
Thank you. Good girl.
Terry, are we doing one for the school as well? Do we have here someone to represent, or are you going to accept that?
I guess I could, or send it to the school.
Oh, sorry.
Gentlemen, please introduce yourself. Come up here. Thank you very much for coming.
My name is Eric Van Slyke. I'm the science supervisor for the county schools, and the school unfortunately couldn't be here tonight, so I came in their stead. So.
Well, we appreciate that, Eric. May I please? Allegheny County, Maryland, official citation to Bel Air Elementary School, top school, telephone book recycling campaign 2013-2014. Congratulations. Reduce, reuse, recycle, compost. All three county commissioners with the great seal of Allegheny County. Thank you again for the commitment. All right, we'll do Mom first and then Terry. Okay?
Thank you very much.
Thanks. Thank you.
Notice he didn't get down on his knees.
Would you like us to deliver through school?
Yeah, that's fine.
Must have been something you said. Must have been something you said.
I know. I have that effect.
Mike's been in training, and I can tell he got down and up twice in the same day.
He's been practicing.
You'd be surprised how much that matters.
Oh, absolutely.
Get on the same eye level.
Yeah.
It is a sign of respect. I had
know with 8.
no. It's something that actually I remember when I used to do. I didn't get paid for doing clowning. But actually,
Okay, sir.
But I was
On
lucky
to
to
the
do some
action
clowning.
agenda.
And one of the things that they teach you is that when you are dealing with children and you're in wardrobe, because you're not in costume as a clown, you're in wardrobe, is to make them as easy, comfortable, and the best way to do that is to get on one knee. So, but anyhow, that was a good segue. People are gone. Okay, moving right along into our action agenda, setting the levy, budget actions for 2015. Commissioners, please allow me the moment to go ahead and read our budget message. Dear Allegheny County residents, the goals of the Allegheny County Commissioners are expressed each fiscal year in our budget. Our county budget reflects the economic and financial realities that we face today and future challenges we anticipate. As we have stated in the previous budget message, we must make the tough decisions that prepare our county for challenges we face today and provide a solid foundation for future boards. With regard to the development of this year's budget, working with our staff, we were able to condense our public hearing schedule for outside agencies to 2 afternoon sessions. Following up on these meetings, we participated in 2 public work sessions and held 3 public hearings. As publicly reported, the lingering effects of the global recession continue to define the county's financial capabilities. For FY 2015, the county anticipates a 3.5% reduction in revenue from its share of the state collected income tax. This projection will result in $858,000 fewer dollars to the county's general fund. As a result of this decrease in revenue, the county is unable to provide many of the outside agencies with the small increases in funding they had requested for the coming fiscal year. Additionally, we have stated repeatedly during the past 3 years the negative consequences the county has experienced from the loss of 90% of the county's highway user funds. Similar to Allegheny County government, the Allegheny County Board of Education has lost millions of dollars in state funding. With regard to the HUR, it is important to note that Allegheny County, like all local governments, have the same responsibility to maintain the same miles of public roadways as existed prior to the loss of the HUR. Our highway user funds were retained by the state and contributed to the construction of new mass transit systems in areas beyond the reach of rural Marylanders. We wish to take this opportunity to express our gratitude to the members of the Allegheny County delegation who sponsored legislation that would restore a portion of the HUR to local governments in the future. We commend them for standing up not only for Allegheny County, but also all rural Marylanders as their elected leaders at the local level. In spite of the reduction of the projected general funds revenues, we are fortunate to be able to maintain level funding for many of our outside agencies, with only small increases going to a limited number of entities. A full compliance of the Maryland state law, this year's budget will achieve the state mandated maintenance of effort requirement for the Board of Education. This budget will also retain funding to support school safety officers and mental health programming supported by the Allegheny County Health Department. We wish to emphasize that the funding for education remains the county's single highest funding priority, as 84% of the county's general fund expenditures to outside agencies is earmarked for the Board of Education and Allegheny College of Maryland. In addition to supporting education, providing basic core services to our residents has been and remains a key priority for this board. Our county staff continues to work creatively with the state and federal agencies to maximize the most favorable grant and loan packages. With regard to public water and sewer, our county's Public Works Department is involved in the planning, design, or the construction of an estimated $30 million in public utility projects at this time. In the past year, 620 households have been added to our public water system. As set forth in Resolution 11-12, the board will continue with a slight reduction in the county's property tax rate of 1/10 of a penny. As we have stated in previous messages, the FY 2015 budget reflects our commitment to limited size of county government, our commitment to hold the line on taxes, and our commitment to try to run your county government like a business. Furthermore, again this year, our board will not use the county's fund balance to balance the FY 2015 budget. In accordance with the guidelines set forth by the Government Finance Officers Association and the Government Accounting Standards Board, Statement number 54, the county has reported that it maintains a minimum of 2 months of general fund revenues to adhere to these standards. As publicly reported, this commitment was favorably viewed by Standard & Poor's Rating Services and Moody's Investor Services, which chose to upgrade the county's bond rating in March 2013. Our commitment to live within our means has resulted in being reevaluated by S&P. The county was recently informed that this rating agency chose to again elevate the county's rating from A+ to AA-. This budget is $525,000 less than last year's budget. However, it accomplishes the following. Number one, a rate decrease in property taxes that equals 1/10 a penny. Number two, a budget which does not rely on county's fund balance to fund internal or outside agency commitments. Number three, a budget which does provide for a small increase to the Allegheny County Health Department, the library system, and Emergency Services Board. Number four, a budget that reflects the county's success in obtaining grant funding for water and sewer projects. We would like to express our sincere appreciation to the county's senior management team and department heads for their steadfast commitment to stay within their authorized budgets. A complete copy of the budget is available on the county's website at www.gov.alcanet.org. Sincerely, the Board of County Commissioners. Okay, item number 5, Commissioners. Mr. Bennett. Can you shed some light on resolution number 14-13, please?
Sure. Much as you just read, we have a handful of motions here we'll go through that we enact every year. It's part of the budget process. The first one, Resolution 1413, actually enacts the operating and capital budget. It's in the total amount of $120,369,050. And we've certainly talked about this many times over the last few months. So really tonight is simply your time to take action on it. So
Certainly.
with that, I'll leave it to you.
Any comments, questions, Commissioners? Notwithstanding, I will like to make a motion that we adopt resolution number 14-13. Is there a second?
Second.
It has been moved by Commissioner McKay, seconded by Commissioner Valentine. We'll have a roll call vote. Commissioner Valentine?
Aye.
Commissioner Brody?
Aye.
Commissioner McKay? Aye. Motion passes. Mr. Bennett, item number 6, motion to adopt the tax levy and differential.
So this one will actually enact the tax rates that will go into effect July 1st. And if you don't mind, I'll read just a little blurb regarding what exactly you're enacting. This will be setting of the non-city real property tax rate at 0.979, which when added to the state tax rate of 11.2 cents result in a total of 1.091 on each $100 of assessable real property. In addition, the tax levy for personal property shall be set at $2.4475 per 100 per assessable personal property with no state tax rate added. Further, the Commissioners will consider the setting of the public utilities non-city tax rate at 2.4475, which when added to the state tax rate of 0.28 shall be set at 2.7275 on each $100 of assessable property of public utilities. The Board will set the municipal tax rates for real property, personal property, and public utilities as listed in the levy for each of the 7 municipalities. The county shall establish a discount rate of 1% for July and August when tax bill is paid in full. There will be no discount established for personal property. The interest rate and the redemption rate are also detailed under tax levy and differential. So with that, I'll leave it to you to approve the tax rates.
Gentlemen, any comments? None hearing. I'd like to make a motion to adopt the tax levy and differential. Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved by Commissioner McKay, seconded by Commissioner Brody. We'll have a roll call vote. Commissioner Valentine?
Aye.
Commissioner Brody?
Aye.
Commissioner McKay? Aye. Motion carries. Jason, item number 7, motion to adopt the supplemental levy for special taxing areas. Please.
So to go along with the tax levy and differential, in July 1, we also enact tax rates for special taxing areas and our ad valorem. So at this time, this would be your opportunity to go ahead and enact those tax rates as well.
Okay. Gentlemen, we've had discussion. Is there any comments?
No, sir.
All right. I move that we make a motion to adopt the supplemental levy for special taxing areas. Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved by Commissioner McKay, seconded by Commissioner Valentine. We'll have a roll call vote. Commissioner Valentine?
Aye.
Commissioner Brody?
Aye.
Commissioner McKay? Aye. Motion carries. Mr. Bennett, item number 8.
The next one is adoption of the capital improvement program for fiscal years 2015 to 2019. This program was presented on May the 8th, 2014 by Adam Patterson, and this will be your opportunity to enact the CIP for those 5 years. And also, I don't know if Adam wants to say anything or not, but thanks. We'll keep going then. So now's your chance to enact the CIP.
Okay. Any questions for Jason or Adam? No. Gentlemen, I'd like to make the motion to approve and adopt our capital improvement program for fiscal years 2015 through 2019. Is there a second?
Second.
It has been moved by Commissioner McKay, seconded by Commissioner Brody. We'll have a roll call vote. Commissioner Valentine?
Aye.
Commissioner Brody?
Aye.
Commissioner McKay? Aye. Motion carries. Item number 9, please. Mr. Bennett.
Last one, I promise. This one authorizes me to have the necessary levy documents published in the Times News and printed also in our pamphlet form. So it simply just gives me the ability to do that, and we'll do that in the very, very near future.
Okay. Any questions for Mr. Bennett as of pertaining to item number 9? None hearing. I'd like to make a motion that we authorize the Director of Finance to have the necessary levy documents published in the local newspaper, printed in the customary pamphlet form. Is there a second?
Second.
It has been moved by Commissioner McKay, seconded by Commissioner Valentine. We'll have a roll call vote. Commissioner Valentine?
Aye.
Commissioner Brody?
Aye.
Commissioner McKay? Aye. Motion carries. Thank you, Jason.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Item number 10, Mr. Yoder, our Utilities Division Chief, is here to talk about the water and sewer rates for fiscal year 2015.
Hello, Commissioners.
Hello.
Sir.
Is with previous years, the budget for the Utilities Division and the Sanitary Commission was prepared in cooperation with the Department of Public Works and Finance. The proposal that I'm going to present here today is as recommended by the Sanitary Commission. The past year, we've seen in our water and sewer system increase in costs in fuel, the big ticket items, in fuel, equipment repair, liability insurance, and treatment cost. Treatment cost includes what we pay to outside providers of treatment service. Some of our wastewater goes to Cumberland, some to Kaiser, but also the operation of our own plants. Our plants have been upgraded in the past 4 or 5 years to new ENR standards, and we're seeing increased cost to operate those plants. They're more sophisticated, more chemicals, more power, more pieces of equipment in general. The City of Cumberland and Kaiser are seeing increases in cost also, and it's what's been reported in the paper. They're raising their rates to their customers, which include us, so those costs come, we feel those in our budget. One thing I want to point out that all sanitary districts, whether or not they're treated at the City of Cumberland or Kaiser or at our own plants, have seen similar cost increases. What we're recommending in this budget is a $3 per quarter increase or $1 a month. And we're seeing costs greater than that in all of our districts, regardless of how their wastewater is treated. The cost doesn't cover the increase doesn't cover the entire cost. We were able to cut some other areas to try to make the budget balance. We've also seen increases in our operating our water systems, but we were able to come up with cuts in other areas and reduce different budget items to keep those costs the same. That is with the exception of Cresaptown, which had a 3-year program to phase in some USDA loans that came on board 2 years ago. So this would be a $9 per quarter increase, which is the last of 3 that were approved a few years back. And Bowling Green Water is also another exception. Their sewer is based on their water bill. So the only way to adjust their sewer rate is to adjust their water. So we're proposing a $2 per quarter increase in their water, which per customer will result in a $3 per quarter, the same as all the other sanitary districts. We continue to reinvest as much as we can in our infrastructure. I was pleased to hear you mention some of the projects we do have and the success we've had with loans and grants. We're very, very proud of that. We need to continue to do that. We're behind the same as every other town in the United States to reinvest in our infrastructure. We'll continue to seek those favorable packages. Looking industry-wide, other municipalities and other treatment systems are seeing similar increases to what we are. And I'm sorry to say that in the near future, that trend doesn't look to change any. We'll continue to operate our systems as efficient as we can and keep our eye out for ways to save money. What I'd ask for today is if the commissioners would adopt the recommendation of the Sanitary Commission, which in general was a $3 per quarter increase on sewer. Ad valorem was generally staying the same with a minor change in Old Town, the Old Town Road area. And then the 2 water districts that I had mentioned. The rates are presented in the staff report and have been posted online for 2 weeks, I think.
Okay. Commissioners, any questions? I am in conflict with this for the simple reason that I know that it may be $1 or $2 or $3 per quarter, but I am not convinced yet that our residents can afford that. What are some of the consequences of maybe a delay or do we have to set this today, Bill, from a legal standpoint? Dave?
Commissioners, you do not have to approve a rate increase. If you choose not to do that, the rates will remain the same. Okay. However, if we
is there a window of time that this has to be done?
Well, if we don't, if you need additional time to reflect upon this, you can take as much time as you like. If we wait beyond July the 1st, we will be dipping into the county's fund balance within the utilities fund division to pay all of our bills. Okay, because we project a $300-some thousand deficit as a result of some of the increases that these additional treatment costs and equipment issues that Mark has identified. So. And if we don't do it at all this year, it's in all likelihood the next Board of County Commissioners will get a recommendation from the Sanitary Commission for a very substantial increase to cover the county's cost in the future.
If I can point something out what Dave mentioned with the $300-some thousand increase we're seeing in our cost, this rate increase only covers about $100,000 of that. So the other $200,000 is coming from cuts elsewhere in the budget.
Okay. Commissioners, any thoughts? Okay. I'd like to entertain a motion to authorize the water and sewer rates for 2015. Is there a said motion?
So moved.
Is there a second? Motion dies for lack of second. What I'd like to do, Mark, is for you and I to sit down next week and basically chart out a course of action when we can meet together. I'd like to know what the balances of these are, and I think I need to really take a much harder look at it.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Okay, item number 11 is the industrial shell building in the Barton Business Park proposal acceptance. Mr. Diaz, our Director of Economic and Community Development. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, good evening. How are you?
Wonderful, sir.
I'm here tonight to, first I'll take you back to November of last year. I stood here and asked for the Commissioner's approval to authorize a proposal to do a design build for a 40,000 square foot industrial shell building in the Barton Business Park. Since that time, we sent out a first solicitation where we got 9 firms, design build firms interested in bidding on that, and we took those 9 firms and narrowed that down to 3 firms back in the late winter. And we invited those 3 firms to submit detailed proposals to us based on the request for proposal we put out. In February, we held a pre-proposal conference with the 3 shortlisted vendors, contractors. In March, we sent out 2 addendums as a result of that pre-construction meeting. And in May, we received the proposals and formed a review committee of 5 county employees to review the proposals based on the grading criteria that we outlined in our RFP. I'm here tonight to ask you for approval based on the committee's 4-to-1 recommendation that we award this to the Carl Belt Company at a cost of $3.517 million.
Okay. Commissioners, before your comments or whatever, we do have a constituent that would like to talk about item number 7, Mr. Gary Imes. If you would state your name and address for the record, please.
Gary Imes, 25 Mountain View Lane, LaVelle, Maryland. First of all, I'd like to thank you, Commissioners, for supporting small business in the past. That's greatly appreciated. I have 2 questions concerning this project because it was not bid under the competitive sealed bidding for projects over $25,000. Really, my first question is this design build best value in our code, is it legal for bidding based on our code?
Mr. Rudd?
It is. It was competitively bid. I mean, it was bid in a different criteria, but it was competitively bid. As I understand, there were sealed bids and it was bid.
Okay, here's my second question then. You're being asked by Economic Development to award a bid that is almost $500,000 higher than the low bid. The bid documents ask for the most practical way to complete this building project. What does the low bid not include that was asked for in the request for proposals to justify this higher dollar award?
Okay. Mr. Diaz, if you would, I believe there's a document of explaining this process.
Certainly. Gary's right. This wasn't done like normally we do a bid or a design bid process where you get the job designed, put it out on the market, contractor's bidder, and the low bid gets awarded the project. We chose to do this way, and I did, and I will say that I pushed for this method because what we asked for in the RFP was some creativity from firms who have done this type of work before and present ideas to us that maybe we would not think of just a standard square shell building. So in our first addendum to the after the pre-construction or the pre-proposal conference, we outlined in that addendum pretty much where our stance was, because there was a lot of questions at the pre-proposal conference. Shouldn't you do an apples to apples? Wouldn't this be better if we did the standard bid build? And we explained it. Actually, since we weren't real precise in terms of we want a door here and a water heater there, that we were looking for these firms to actually give us some ideas. So basically what we said in that first addendum was the county wishes to complete this project in the spirit of a true design build project. With that, please note that while we can offer some answers, we are counting on the individual design teams to present to the county staff the most practical way to complete the 40,000 square foot building as outlined in the original RFP. Because of this approach, this project will not necessarily be an apples-to-apples comparison when submitting a proposal. Instead, we expect to see originality and creative design-build approach, which will take this project from initial design to a turnkey building with only the guidelines set forth in the RFP and this addendum as boundaries. The rest is up to you, the professionals, to present to the county while taking into consideration the weighted grading scale outlined in the RFP. In short, this is not a project where each team will bid on the same design and the low bid will be awarded the project.
Okay. And that was distributed to?
Yes, when we do addendums, and there was a second addendum after this that actually included the geotech report. We send those out to the contractors, and all the contractors send acknowledgement back that they received.
That they received that. Does that fit within the legal bounds of the commissioners?
Well, it does. I mean, I think when you advertise it, let me just ask him the question. The criteria that were set forth that these proposals were graded upon was publicly advertised.
It was in the RFP, correct.
So it was in the RFP, so somebody bidding knew that you get so many points for this and so many points for that, and then it was independently graded and the numbers were the numbers. Is that accurate?
That's correct. It lends itself to a subjective approach by 5 employees that take a look at that and view the criteria.
And from the staff recommendation, what exactly was the vote?
It was 4-1.
4-1.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Anything significant on the one descending that had anything to do with the concerns that Mr. Imes did bring up?
I think the thought was, I don't want to speak for that particular person, but I think the thought was that perhaps the cost would be a bone of contention. And I think the 4 who voted in favor took into consideration that we were basically looking at prices for 3 entirely different buildings. We basically said we want a 40,000 square foot square, and you tell us what you think would be the best use of that, and that's how we looked at them.
Okay. Okay. Commissioners, any comments, concerns?
Mr. Chair,
Sir.
still hasn't answered my question. What are we getting for $500,000 more? He still hasn't answered my question. And this process does hurt small business and taxpayers, as seen by that $500,000.
Okay. Understand your comment. Anything that?
I would just say, in the spirit of a true design build project, typically you're making changes from start to finish. And I think the majority of the committee felt that the proposal that we're accepting, there's probably some things that we can value engineer out. With the proposal we got at the low bid was probably some things that we would want to add in as we moved along.
He's asking for credits after you bid when he came to my office, he said how he would get the price down, he would ask for credits after he gave the award. I don't see where that's fair or legal. He just mentioned it, asking for credits after the award to get the price down towards ours. That doesn't seem fair at all to me. I'm sorry, but it doesn't.
Okay. You've been heard, and I appreciate that, sir.
Thank you.
Okay. Do you have any concerns at this point?
Well, what he said, I understand what he said. The issue is you're awarding right now, you're being asked to award a bid based upon what's been submitted, not any value engineering, not any additions, not any deletions. You're approving a bid that's been proposed. Whether there's anything added in or taken out is a whole other story.
Okay.
You're being asked, before you, somebody submitted a proposal, the committee's recommending approving this based upon the number of criteria they evaluated as the existing proposal, not what could be changed. That's what you're being asked to approve. So regardless of whatever the conversation was, that's what you're looking at.
Okay.
And, the rest of it, that's for another day.
Okay. Okay. All right, Commissioners, as I see it, I think we've got 2 different issues here that we don't need to mix together. Regardless of this process, if it was the wrong way to attack it or not, we have advertised a bid, we have had submitters, everyone has adhered to what the rule was, that it was not going to be apples to apples. And unless you commissioners have anything else for comment or whatever, okay. I'd like to make a motion that we approve the industrial shell building in the Barton Business Park, to authorize the Board of County Commissioners for the acceptance of design build proposal from Carl Belt Construction for the development of a 40,000 square foot industrial shell building in the Barton Business Park. Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved by Commissioner McKay, seconded by Commissioner Valentine. We'll have a roll call vote. Commissioner Valentine?
Aye.
Commissioner Brody?
Nay.
Commissioner McKay? Motion is approved. All right, thank you very much. Item number 12, Mr. Diaz, resolution number 14-14.
Yes, Commissioners. Item number 12 is a resolution between the County Commissioners and the State of Maryland Department of Business and Economic Development. Essentially, the State of Maryland owns the Barton Business Park under the umbrella of Medco, and we have...
Just a second. Mr. Wilmot, Mr. Himes, you'll be glad to have a conversation. I'm having a hard time hearing, so, yes, sir. Go ahead, please.
The resolution is DBED, the Maryland Department of Business and Economic Development, doing an investment agreement, or another word for saying a grant agreement, to grant the county the 27-plus acres in the Barton Business Park at a value, I believe, is $1.1 million plus. Essentially, that's the state and the county partnering together to construct a shell building and market it cooperatively and try to get the second tenant into the park. I would like to say that 27 acres sounds like a lot, but as part of this project, we are going to prepare another 40,000 square foot pad site adjacent to the 40,000 square foot construction. So in the event the state or the county has a prospect come to us needing a larger building, then I think we've already gotten to that point in the construction process. So this is just basically a matter of housekeeping. The state will ask us to pass this resolution, and Mr. Rudd and I talked, an agreement will come, essentially an investment agreement or a grant agreement, where we'll agree on the terms of them granting us the land.
Okay, okay. As a side note, sir, what is the percentage of our parks? Are they filled? I mean, what is with our economic development?
Our buildings are pretty well depleted. We have a large space in the back here as part of the former Beaterlack building, okay, which I think there's a certain company back there that I'm hopeful someday will get to the point that they'll need the whole space.
Okay.
It's really hard to market large, old buildings when somebody needs a 40,000 square foot space. And that's something that we historically have had no problem filling, and something that our inventory is lacking very much right now.
Okay. I think that's what's the important part, that our inventory is lacking for that. So, gentlemen, I'd like to make a motion that we adopt Resolution 14-14, authorizing the Board of County Commissioners to accept the investment agreement with the Maryland Department of Business and Economic Development in the amount of $1,102,000 for Resolution 14-14. Is there a second?
Second.
It has been moved by Commissioner McKay, seconded by Commissioner Brody. We'll do a roll call vote. Commissioner Valentine? Aye. Commissioner Brody?
Aye.
Commissioner McKay? Aye. Motion carries. Thank you. Item number 13.
There's also going to be a $150,000 ARC grant to complement that. But we need your approval and acceptance of this grant agreement to keep the project moving.
Okay, gentlemen, I'd like to make a motion that we authorize the President of the Board of County Commissioners to sign a grant agreement with the Maryland Department of Housing and Community Development for community development block grant funding for the Moss Avenue Water Project. Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved by Commissioner Valentine, seconded by Commissioner McKay. In the spirit of tonight, we'll do a roll call vote. Commissioner Valentine?
Aye.
Commissioner Brody?
Aye.
Commissioner McKay? Aye. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Mr. Eberly, what do we have on our consent agenda?
Commissioners, this evening we have 3 items on the agenda. We have a right-of-way agreement with Potomac Edison for some property in the Barton Business Park. We have a request from the City of Cumberland for a tax abatement for 3 properties, one of which is a vacant lot and 2 of which are blighted. And the city has recently expressed an interest in acquiring title to those properties. And we have various appointments to the county's EMS Advisory Council.
Okay. Commissioners, I have passed on a recommendation for these appointments in item number 14. I'd like to entertain a motion to accept our consent agenda.
So
It's been moved by, is there a second?
Second. Calls aye.
It's been moved by Commissioner Valentine, struggled, but been seconded by Commissioner Brody. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. What's on your desk there? Mr. Eberly, please.
You will bear with me this evening, Commissioners. I'm going to run a tad bit long. I have a letter I would like to present to you this evening. You have received in the mail today a letter from Kevin Kelly regarding property located at 13004 Fleetwood Drive in Cumberland. And it paraphrases a conversation that Delegate Kelly has had with one of the residents in that neighborhood requesting the possibility of scheduling a meeting with you commissioners and some of the property owners to discuss issues related to 13004 Fleetwood Drive. I bring to your attention the letter also identifies as a CC to Steve Stallings, who is a plans examiner for Allegheny County. If you get a building permit, a commercial residential building permit, and it exceeds a certain square footage, he is the individual here on staff who works part-time who reviews those plans for us. However, the property is not occupied by Mr. Stallings. It is occupied by his son-in-law. Given the fact that this is the second time that his association with the property has been brought into the public realm, Mr. Rudd and I have talked about the prospects of us hiring outside legal counsel to assist us in evaluating this situation.
Your thought process, Mr. Rudd?
Well, I'm fairly certain that we followed all the proper, procedures and so forth, and we haven't treated this thing any differently because it's owned by a county employee. However, the appearance being what the appearance is, and I think to ease everybody's mind and be fair to everybody, including the employee, including the property owners and so forth, would probably be a good idea to ask that outside counsel be retained for the sole purpose of reviewing what's occurred, making recommendations, giving an opinion to the commissioners on this particular issue, and chips fall where they may. And I think that's, we would locate and retain somebody who has no involvement with Mr. Stallings in the past, no involvement with the property owners, the current occupier or the neighbors, and has no involvement with the county. So that person is a clean shot. And their recommendation, we would agree to follow. And the recommendation would be to the commissioners. It would be the same as if I were giving you opinion, it would be independent counsel to give that opinion.
Okay. I understand, Commissioner Valentine, you've been out to the property.
I've visited that property probably on 4 different occasions at the request of property owners adjoining that property. Each time I did see some debris in the area, and I would come back, give a report to our enforcement officers. They'd go out and talk to the business owner. Within a few days, I'd get a call back from the property owner saying that, thanking me for my involvement and saying that the debris had been cleaned up. But this has been ongoing for a number of years, and I think, we're going to have to come to some sort of a permanent resolution on this.
Okay. Well, I know it's been requested by Delegate Kelly that we go on site. I thank you, Commissioner Valentine, for your diligence on this. Commissioner Brody, you do what you think is right, but I tend to believe that because there has been some accusations on county staff on this part of some form of improper, what I would recommend to us is that we go ahead with the recommendation of Mr. Eberly and Mr. Rudd to find a third-party person who, for full transparency, will be able to make a decision on and give us a recommendation.
Well, and the goal would be to have a report at least within 30 days from the assignment to that person. If they can get it sooner, that's wonderful, but I think that's a fair range of time. It would allow that person to go out to the site, interview the neighbors, the property owner, the person that occupies the property, to speak to Mr. Kelly, whoever, and obviously do the legal research, review the file and the history and so forth, and give us a report.
Okay. For you guys to figure out who to call or whatever, Is that a 2-week process?
I think we should have a name to you probably early next week, I would think.
Okay, well, if you guys are in consensus, I'd like to do that, and then just forward the name to me, and then we really would like to have an answer within 30 days of when we determine who that person is going to be, because this has been a situation that has been going on for multiple boards of commissioners, and I know the position of Allegheny County has been, for lack of better words, consistent. And I think it's time that we do that. So as long as we're in consensus. All right, make it happen, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Okay. Anything else on your desk?
Yes, sir. Similar to what we did a couple of weeks ago, Mr. Bennett, I'm going to ask you to come to the podium now, if you don't mind, and I'm going to bring to the Commissioner's attention some observations that we've made as staff, and just to enter into the public record for clarification purposes. Commissioners, 2 days ago, Mr. Bennett shared some information with me that was posted to the Board of Education website a few weeks back. And I want to reflect on that here with you tonight for just a few moments. And in that posting, in a report, it reads a update to the 2015 budget. A statement in conclusion reads, county government has taken in $6.1 million in revenue for the teachers' pension shift. The county has paid out $5.2 million for the teachers' pension shift. And over a 3-year period of time, $1.5 million in additional resources for other purposes. The inference that is being made here is that the county is somehow profiting from the teachers' pension shift. Jason, jump in any time here and correct me if I'm wrong, but the county has received over the last 2 years and is scheduled to receive again this fiscal year a disparity grant to cover the teachers' pension shift, and that number is $1,632,106. This number is included in the budget that you adopted here this evening as part of the total disparity grant award, and these disbursements are subject to audit. Commissioners, this supplemental appropriation has not changed since FY 2013. It is important to note that this appropriation does not cover the entire portion of the teacher's pension liability. Now, if I take that number, $1,632,106, and I multiply that by the previous 2 years and our budget for next year, I come up with $4,896,318. Okay. Including the proposed appropriation for 2015, the county will have forwarded $5,221,000 to the board to cover the entire pension shift liability for 3 fiscal years. So the county has had to provide an additional $324,682 above the disparity grant award to fund the entire local share liability. For the record, the next Board of County Commissioners will be obligated to forward about $571,000 additional dollars above to the disparity grant award next year to cover the local share of the teachers' pension shift. That being said, Board of Education reports that we received $6.1 million in revenue for the teachers' pension shift, and our audited numbers will show that we actually will have received $4,896,318. In that report, it also states that the county has $1.5 million of additional resources after the increased maintenance of effort payments. This is absolutely amazing. We get just under $4.9 million. We give the Board of Education $5.2 million, and somehow in the mix, it is publicly reported that we have netted an additional $1.5 million. One more time for the record, our proposed FY 2015 budget has been drafted, and approved with a projected loss of $858,000 in income tax revenue and a budget that is $525,000 smaller than last year's budget. Our budget didn't shrink by $500,000 because we have more money today than we had a year ago. Commissioners, we have publicly discussed over the past 3.5 years that our economy has picked up our house and dropped it into a new dimension, okay? Just like Dorothy and Toto, we're not in Kansas anymore. We are living in a different time. Jason, I know you're coiled spring on this one, so it's your turn.
Oh, and first of all, you're absolutely correct on everything you just said. All the numbers you just mentioned are absolutely correct. So if you don't mind indulging me for just a moment, I'm actually just going to read something just for simple ease. The Board of Education continually talks about how Allegany County is profiting from the pension shift. Unfortunately, as our budget proves, this is not true. Some of the revenues used to offset the pension shift during fiscal year 13 do not even come to the county. Others are not even revenues, such as non-repayment of the income tax reserve fund. We have counted all other revenue adjustments in our budget, but the profit the Board of Education continues to point to simply is not there. We don't even have evidence that the supplemental disparity grant will be available after next year. So we've planned for that by reserving fund balance because it's the responsible thing to do. As the pension shift was implemented, it is also permanently attached to maintenance of effort. In fact, it will become part of the maintenance of effort calculation in fiscal year 2017. The result is Allegany County, along with 11 other counties, keeping to maintenance of effort so as not to commit future budgets and boards of commissioners to unsustainable funding levels. The Board of Education's Tuesday night meeting this week saw them discuss finding $3.4 million in cuts to balance their budget. Since the difference between Allegany County's requested funding and actual is only $1.2 million, it's curious as to why the Board of Education waited so long to try to balance their budget. They knew they had a spending problem long ago. Staff was advised months in advance of the budget that maintenance of effort would be the likely funding scenario. They are currently on an unsustainable course as they have been using an average of $2.9 million of fund balance since fiscal year 11. Even if we fully funded their requests at this time, they would still be using more than $2 million annually. It is acceptable and even prudent to use fund balance to cover a one-time financial difficulty, but we are far past that now as we are more than a few years into what might be described as a new financial reality, like Dave mentioned. It's time to quit pointing fingers and simply asking for more money that is not there and manage the funds that are available. The Board of Ed continually talks about the $11 million in state funding they have lost, yet during the same time, we've lost $14.5 million of highway user funds. And in fact, since '09, that number is $22.5 million. Excuse me.
Jason, repeat that again, please.
Since fiscal year '09, it's $22.5 million we've lost. But we cut our budgets early in this process to deal with this loss of revenue, and we did it without cutting any services to our citizens and without raising real estate or income taxes. The bond raters clearly like our approach, as we have been rewarded with 3 rating upgrades in the last 16 months. The reward to taxpayers is lower interest rates as we borrow money in the future. And on the topic of borrowing, some 2.5 years ago, it was made clear that building a new high school would require an all-hands-on-deck approach, as we talked about many times. Borrowing in these times is a difficult proposition. So at this point, I'm very concerned, professionally speaking, that it appears the Board of Education has not yet made the difficult choices necessary to be financially prepared for the construction of a new school. The new financial reality that everyone has to deal with does not leave us with easy choices, but they are necessary choices. There are tough choices that our taxpayers have been forced to make, tough choices that local businesses have made, tough choices that we've made. And the Board of Education is not exempt from these tough choices as well. So, thanks for indulging me for a minute.
Jason, there's a question of this 140 positions. Do you know of anybody personally who has lost their job, or were these?
I don't personally. I mean, you certainly have to ask the Board of Education where
Well,
exactly they came
what
from.
What I would like you to do is go ahead and ask your counterpart.
Will do.
Unfortunately, it goes for a theme with Dr. Cox. Whenever I ask him a question or send him an email, he adheres to this thing called political protocol. I just call it disrespect, but he refuses to talk to me. And he said that I can talk to whoever the president of the board is at that time. So if you would, I guess, follow this political protocol that they have over there to find out that answer. I also think it's important, Dave, that you sit down with Dr. Cox and have a gentlemanly discussion about some of the accusations that have been portrayed on their website. Therefore, we are continuing in the spirit of political protocol, but there again, I just call it disrespect, to get to the bottom of this. You're exactly correct. It's time to man up, or young lady up, and look at your budgets and work within your means. Simple as
I
that.
think it needs to be stated too that Monday evening at the Board of Education forum that was held at ACM, it was publicly stated by one of the incumbent board members that Allegany County was profiting off the disparity grant. I think they used a number of something like $800,000 we had profited. So this is a statement they're constantly putting out there in the public, and it's wrong information. It's very misleading information. I don't know where they're getting their numbers from. It might be part of the new math that they use somehow. But I think the public has to hear the truth.
And if you might, to fill you in on those details a little bit, two years ago, as the pension shift was first being put on us, the state did enact a number of, they called revenue enhancements. And we did a presentation here right before we adopted the budget, talking about those enhancements and how some of them literally don't even come to the county. They're not ours to use, so we can't count them. Some other things they counted, like repayment of a reserve fund, that was money that the state had already taken from us, and they just said, hey, you don't have to pay it back. So to that, unfortunately, it's not a revenue to us. So we've done a presentation on all that. The numbers are there. The numbers actually are still on our website from that presentation, so it's available for anyone to look at. And I'm happy to talk details about it at any time.
Like I said, your two counterparts need to sit down and hammer out what is actually the truth. And I remember back during the teacher pension shift, we were part of a group going down and walking the halls of Annapolis, knocking on delegates as well as senators to try to stop this shift. And the elected Board of Education was nowhere to be found. They were invited. Matter of fact, representation from ASME, our roads division, traveled down with me 3 or 4 times, that we went down to Annapolis for strategy meetings, as well as the actual walking of the halls. So the time is now to stop. So, absolutely. Okay. Anything else on your agenda? Mr. Rudd?
I have nothing.
Okay. Commissioners? Anything?
I'd just like to say that it was a good Memorial Day weekend for Allegany County. The early numbers show that we had between 35 and 40,000 people in attendance at Delfest. We had the Secretary of DBED at Delfest, and they're actually going to do a financial impact study on the effect that Delfest has had on the county. And I think it's going to show some very strong numbers. Also on Memorial Day, the county did a great job of honoring its veterans. I know, Creed, you attended, what, 3 Memorial Day celebrations? I took part in a celebration in Frostburg, took part in a celebration at Rocky Gap, and they were all very well attended. And I think it's, with the way things are going nationally, I think it's a great honor to Allegany County.
Commissioner Brody?
Well, very good. Well, I'm not going to speak very long tonight because we do got 2 people signed up to speak. So what I got to say, we'll wait to our next meeting entirely. Just congratulations to Commissioner Pritz, Commissioner Lupton, and Mayor Laffey of Westernport. They were sworn in Monday night, and me and Bill was down to see them Tuesday evening at their meeting. So congratulations to them, gentlemen. We'll be looking forward to serving with them some more.
And also on Tuesday, I believe that
Frostburg,
Mr. Woody Getz, was
Yes.
also elected, so that's wonderful. Okay. All right, we do have 2 people that have signed up for this evening. The first will be Miss Judy Thielen. Yes, ma'am. Take your time.
Oh, well, I have to. I seem to have shrunk.
Well, I know that this is an emotional time. You lost 2 very, very close friends in a matter of days.
Yeah,
And,
that's why I wrote my notes, because it's been extremely difficult for me. So forgive me,
No,
Commissioners.
please take all the time you need.
No.
Okay, I'll take that back.
Anyway, my name, as you said, is Judy Thiel, and I reside at 11821 McMullen Highway, Cumberland, Maryland. I am the Vice Chair of the Allegany County Animal Control Board until the end of this month. I'm here tonight to inquire about the future of the Allegany County Animal Control Board. On August 9th, 2012, you approved the following appointments to the Animal Control Board. Susan Eisel, myself, Jody Schweitzer, and Debbie Amiot for 2 years, expiring June 30th, 2014. When we were first selected, it was through a public process. As you recall, we responded to an article in the Cumberland Times News calling for applicants interested in sitting on the Animal Control Board. After our applications were submitted, we were interviewed by Commissioner McKay concerning the position. Those of us who were selected according to the provisions of the Annotated Code of Maryland. We had our first meeting at the Emergency Services building in Mexico Farms. Dick DeVore, who is, as everybody knows, an animal lover and director of the Department of Emergency Services, was instrumental in getting us the menu and very helpful in jump-starting the board's first meeting. He even set up a website for us, showed us how to use the county's site to post our agendas and minutes, which we were subsequently told we could no longer use. But he is working on getting us Facebook, which I don't know how to use, but I'm working on it. The new members agreed to designate Susan Eisel as our chair by the commissioners. When Susan was too ill, and for those of you who don't know that, Susan had pancreatic cancer, and she was diagnosed 1.5 years ago. And she has lived longer than any person that I can imagine, and it was her faith that got her through. But when she was too ill to conduct her meetings, she asked me to co-chair, set the agenda, and run the meeting, which I did. And it's a matter of public record. At our last meeting, Susan appointed Dick DeVore to replace the sheriff on our control board. I objected, not because of Dick. I'm very fond of Dick. But Dick is also on the board of the Animal Control Foundation, and I was concerned that many of our complaints come from about the foundation. And I asked that we could make a motion to ask Dick, which I knew he would accept had he been there, to recuse himself. I contacted, after Susan died, I realized I had to contact the board members. I contacted Jody Schweitzer and Dick because he is temporarily on the board until we voted, but I was unable to get Debbie Amiot. We now know that Debbie was at Hopkins, where she subsequently died. Dick and Jody agreed to postpone the meeting for June 4th until June 11th. Dick wouldn't have been able to be with us at that time, so we wouldn't have had a quorum anyhow. I still had not been able to get Deb. Unfortunately, because of Debbie and Susan, we needed to postpone once again. Anyway, I'm sorry. Our terms are expiring at the end of June, and Susan asked those of us who wanted to be reappointed to let the commissioners know. Linda was under the impression that we were all reappointed because we asked to be. She also told me that Dick DeVore was working with David Everly on creating a list of possible replacements for Susan, and now Debbie. I expressed concerns because I thought the selection of replacements should be public, as it was when we were appointed, to ask the public, to involve the public. I did contact Mr. Everly, and he told me, though, that he and Dick were creating a list to submit to the commissioners. And I was also informed that we had not yet been reappointed, even though Linda thought we had been, and I understand that. So I'm asking you, please reconsider and make this a process, a public process again, and ask the people out there who want to be on that board. We don't want any conflict of interest, and I don't think that will happen if we do this, and I thank you.
Well, part of this is that I've asked for a recommendation of some names. And when I get the recommendation, we'll do exactly what we had done before, is do the interview process like we've done with all, how many boards do we have? Almost 28?
24, 25.
Something like that. And so when the names get brought to my attention, I'm the one who ends up doing the interview process
Oh, I
and
know.
coming with that. So that will all be out in the public for that. I've actually received 2 different emails of people who would like to be on the board, and those names are being submitted
Oh,
over to
good.
Dick DeVore.
Is that option,
So-
is that option open to everybody?
I don't have a problem with that. I mean, they're more than welcome to send me the email for their name for consideration. It is a considerable amount of work, but as you said,
I know.
it's towards transparency. And these board appointments are very important to us. We know that they're not only in name only, regardless of the board. It may be solid waste board. And they're
Yeah.
important to get people that are passionate about those items, and it's to make sure that it's a good fit. Because a lot of times with boards, when you get appointed to it, some people don't know all the roles and responsibilities, and we certainly don't need people in name only. We need actually board participation. So, yes, we will take those names, and I will do the interviews, and then make a recommendation. From those interviews or that, if I don't find someone who I think would be the best for those replacements, because those 2 ladies, as well as the other board, there's some big shoes to fill.
But they are doing, Tina's doing an outstanding job, and the reason we're getting complaints, and see, that was our problem. Like with having Dick on the board, most of our complaints were coming from the other people against the board, and it's because they're bigger.
Right.
And we just thought if we could get input from the public that, because I don't think there's anybody on that board that doesn't love animals.
Right.
And I thank you for listening. And thank you, Bill, too, for your interest.
I was going to say, if you're interested in getting some Facebook 101 teaching, Commissioner Valentine, I think, is starting his own school of that. Now, he does it at 5 in the morning.
4.
4 in the morning. Now, that's before you go swimming.
Well, I don't want everybody knowing. Barbara Buell came to my house one day while I was working and actually said, guess what I just did? I said, what? She said, I just signed you up for Facebook. I said, no. If you look at my Facebook, there's no picture.
Good.
It says Judy Thielen, born in Syracuse, New York, lives in Washington, D.C. So thank Barb for me next time you see her.
I'll let her know.
Thank you.
We'll take care of that, Judy. Thank you very much.
Commissioners, if you can indulge me for just one moment.
Yes, sir.
please. Dr. Thielen, we were hoping to have this whole exercise completed by the 26th of June. If for some reason schedules don't mesh with the list of candidates that we bring in and trying to blend with Commissioner McKay's schedule, we're hoping to take care of at least some of the appointments on June the 26th, and if we have to, we'll just appoint the additional members on July the 10th, which will be our next meeting. So we're going to hopefully move this along over our next 2 meetings.
Okay, I don't know if we have enough for a quorum to have another meeting. My term is up at the end of this month,
And
so that means we're not going to have another meeting until September.
If it helps, though, most people, you serve until somebody, your successor is appointed or you're reappointed. You don't go off just because your term's up. You stay on until you're either reappointed or they appoint a successor.
Right.
So you're still, you can have a meeting after your expiration date.
Well, I was very happy to serve, and I
Well, you and I are attached to
thank
the
you
hip.
very much.
Thank you, Judy. Okay. All right, Mr. Charles Goebel.
Well, I'm glad Ms. Felix here, because I've got a problem that I need to have it correct, and she sounds like somebody can help. My name's Charles Goebel. I live at 15700 Upper Bank Street. I too love animals. I don't have one now, but I do love animals. My brother has 4 cats and 2 dogs. But we have a problem in our area, and I shouldn't be here at the county commissioners discussing it. I should be able to get it resolved by county employees. I've had 2 employees call me from the county on this incident. I have no one from the animal shelter call me, by the way. And one of the 2 indicated that when he called me back, he was doing me a favor. Now, that doesn't make me happy at all. I worked at a bank for 41 years, and if you call me today, I'd get back with you today, because that's how business works. But apparently they have a different way of doing things. But anyway, a week ago, last Monday, my brother and I were walking up Weimer Road, and we passed a house that has a black lab that runs loose all the time. We walked by there, we walked up the road, that dog bit my brother. Brought blood on his arm. And I'll make this quick because I know I don't have much time. We walked up to where the owner was there, and I said, did that dog have rabies shots? He said yes. We walked up to the end of right up Bill Miller's Road is where it's at. We turned around, we're coming back. We sort of decided that we weren't going to do anything. If the dog had rabies shots, we'd pass on it. Well, we came down to where the person lived, and he was on the road, and he and my brother, he jumped all over my brother because his dog bit my brother on a public road. And we were going to pass on it, but he got livid. So I flat told him, I said, and I got along with the guy up to that point. I said, hey, I'm going to report that dog. And so that's what I did. The bottom line is that's when the chaos started. I have not been able to talk. I talked to 2 people, 4 times. I won't give you their names. I called the animal shelter. I thought the person would call us back, and I was with my brother, and ask questions. No one's called. I have found out that dog has bit every neighbor's dog in our immediate area. He fought Tom Perry's dog. He bought a widow woman that lived right down the road from him, and she ended up paying $300 vet bill. This was on Christmas. And they almost killed her dog, and she loved that dog. Her husband's dead, and she loves that dog. Another friend of mine has a little beagle, and that dog was after that beagle. He was after Tom Perry's dog, but he has a German police, and the dog couldn't beat Tom's dog. But he also was on my brother's dog when he had walked in on a leash. So my question to the county commissioner is, give me someone that will look into this, because you've got a dog that's going to cause the county a lot of problem. You're going to have a child go up that road, and that dog's going to come out and tear him apart. And this dog is a young dog. It might be 2 years old, but it is a violent dog. I carry a stick, and that's the only thing that keeps me safe when I walk up that road. That should not be. I walk Mount Savage roads, ask Danny Williams, every day. I can tell you who has the dogs and who doesn't, and what dogs are loose and what aren't. And I know which ones basically people take care of their animals. I don't have any problem with them. But this particular dog, has bit a number of the neighbors' dogs, been into the property, runs loose. I've never seen the owner with a leash on this dog, and most of these incidents happen in his presence. So that's all I like to say. I'd like for someone from the county to address this situation with me. I was with my brother when he was bitten.
Well,
I'd like to get an answer.
Two different things, sir. First of all, when somebody gets bit by a dog, there is a lead agency that takes care of that. Who would be that lead agency?
That's the health department.
The health department.
That has been done. He reported it. I talked to the party out there, I'll name him, Brian Dickin. Brian called me twice. And I said to Brian, because he claims he couldn't get a hold of my brother, and I'll take his word for it. He called me twice. And I said to him, Brian says, now we're going to quarantine the dog. And I think, well, quarantine, they'll take the dog and hold it. They don't do that.
Mr. Goebel,
Okay.
However, that's an investigation that the lead agency is working on the dog bite issue. So that's number one. So until we get a report back from that, which that report will go to what organization then?
Actually, the typical protocol is that many times people who are bitten by an animal go to a hospital, and the hospital is responsible by state law to provide to the health department a bite incident report. That is automatically forwarded to the health department, and the health department then investigates. Subsequent to that action, the animal control entity in a given community is then contacted.
Weeks later?
We are aware that the Animal Control Agency is aware of this situation, and that is a private nonprofit organization that the county has contracted with. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, Mr. Dickin is actually here this evening, and I believe that if that case has been released, if the 10-day quarantine period has been recognized, then a report will be forwarded to the Animal Control Agency, and they will follow up. And we are going to get somebody in touch with you very soon.
One question. When the person contacts the individual, how do they verify whether the dog's had rabies shots? Or do they?
They do.
You know, that's different than what I heard.
Okay.
And that's
Okay.
why I'm here.
If you'd like
So,
afterwards
thank
and
you.
like to talk to Mr. Dickens.
I just want to put on the record that I let you people know that when some kid gets up there and gets tore apart by this dog, that I at least did the part that I needed to do. Thank you.
Thank you very
Appreciate
much.
that, sir. Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
This is a problem. A lot of people don't know the difference between the Allegany County Animal Foundation and the control board. And by law, the annotated code says that any complaints has to come to the animal control board. And we hear a lot of those complaints, a lot. And that's the appropriate place to go. But I also understand his concern, and it's very confusing.
Okay. All right, thank you. Okay, I'd like to remind everyone of our next public business meeting, which is Thursday, June 26, 2014 at 5 o'clock at a different location. This is the Old Town Fire Hall in Old Town. If you've not been there in a while, come on down. Taking the meeting on the show on the road. Remind everyone to look at the news release about the fire hydrant flushing schedule. That is not the city of Cumberland's flushing schedule, I hope.
It's done. For the next 10 years. Well, not everything I've ever seen.
Also, please see the news release about the commissioners' meeting in Old Town, and also the news release for the Bedford Road Water Project public meeting. I'd like to thank you for participating in your government, and you have a nice evening.